Hello there, my beautiful Aries signs. It's Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. Today is going to be a general reading for the sign of Aries, whether that's your sun, moon, or rising sign. If you feel guided to watch this, there's probably a message here for you. So thanks for being here, Aries. If something resonates in this message, please smash that like button. It helps my channel grow and I greatly appreciate it. I did go ahead and meditate on your energy. I was listening to Madonna's Like a Prayer song, so that might be a significant song for some of you. And I pull a traditional Celtic cross spread that kind of gives me just like a general overview of your energy and what's happening for you and what to look forward to in the future. Now, I do see a lot of positive things in your future. Your current energy is a bit depressing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's just a bit of a rough spell that you're probably going through at this time. But you are establishing and building a solid foundation for yourself when it comes to love and when it comes to this career and finance situation that I see happening for you. Now, the first part of this video is going to be all about the tarot, and then the following part is going to be just a bunch of oracle cards, extra cards that I have for you that will hopefully tie everything in this message together. So if you feel guided, please watch the whole video. If you don't, that's fine. You can just watch the first part of the video, which is all about the tarot. So your current energy here, Aries, is the Five of Cups. This is all about regret or remorse, kind of crying over spilt milk, like things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, and you're kind of lost in the past illusions. And it's upsetting. It's not very fulfilling at this time, but you are kind of forgetting about the other two cups you have here. So the other two cups are like opportunities. This is a chance to reflect and to analyze and to move forward. Now, the card that's crossing you here is the Eight of Pentacles. This is putting in the work. This could be about putting in the work when it comes to literally a career, or it could be about putting in the work when it comes to your emotional healing. And I am getting a lot of healing your feminine side energy. Now, the foundation of this whole situation is based on apathy. It's not being satisfied or content with maybe opportunities or offers of love that you've had in the past. There's just something with this Four of Cups. It's like whatever has been presented to you hasn't I don't want to say fill the void, but it's been like there's a hole in your bucket, okay? And that's because you're lacking in self-love at some, even if it's like a very small point, you might be just missing the mark a little bit here. So that's why this message is here, though. It's to guide you and to help you, not to judge you. So make sure, if this message isn't resonating and it's not for you, that's fine. But if you're feeling triggered, chances are it's probably meaning that there's something here for you that is resonating a little bit. So, and there's no shame when it comes to self-love or self-help or healing, because we're all going on different journeys and different timelines, and we all have different trajectories at different points in our life. So if you're just diving into healing right now, like, this is the time. You're divinely guided, and that you're supposed to learn these lessons when you're supposed to learn them. And I'm just glad you're here. So the next card I have for you is the past energy. This is the yin energy. This is Empress. So we all have yin and yang, which is feminine and masculine energies inside of us. Sometimes we need to lean into one more than we need to lean into the other. But the true alchemy is being able to transmute past pain and sorrow and trauma and grief and all of those things, like this Five of Cup energy, and it's to turn it into something positive for ourselves. And that's what you're doing at this moment, because in your present energy, you have the Nine of Cups. So you are kind of like fulfilling your own dreams, fulfilling your own fantasies. You're really trying to focus, Aries, on like what it is that brings you true happiness and fulfillment and joy. So that's the only way you're going to be able to truly love and care for someone else, is when you truly love and care for yourself. And that's what this Empress energy is all about. It's tapping into the feminine side, the motherliness, the fertile side as well. So this to me is a very positive card about shifting, on top of the best card in the deck, which is Knight of Cups, which is wish granted, wish fulfillment. This is manifestations come to life. This is the combination of, putting in the work on yourself and like seeing the fruits of your labor tangibly, essentially. So, with emotional healing, though, it's not really ever tangible thing per se. It's usually like a lifestyle shift. So you might be experiencing some lifestyle changes that are happening for you that you're implementing for yourself. And I do see that there is a lot of positivity that's coming your way here, Aries, because you have the Six of Wands in the near future. And this is victory. This is success. This is achieving your goals and receiving admiration and praise for, your work. And we don't always get, a pat on the back for doing shadow work or doing internal healing. But the subconscious way we receive gifts is through changing our vibration. So when you change your vibration, you're enacting this law of attraction because you're increasing your energy. So love is one of the highest forms of highest vibrational states. Truth and authenticity is even higher than that. So when you change and shift into those sorts of mindsets and those sorts of lifestyles, you are naturally going to attract in better things for yourself and things that are going to help you align on your path and on your journey and elevate you. Now, does that also mean you won't attract moths? No, you are going to have experiences and challenges, but they're going to be attracted to you and brought to you to help you learn and grow and really just practice your alchemy skills, essentially. So the next card I have for you is a great card as well. This is the Three of Pentacles. This is like, what is your power in this situation? And I really feel like you're going to benefit the most, Aries, from working with your community, your friendships, your connections, your networking. Like, this is where this comes into play. So if you've been struggling with work or you've been trying to hone your craft when it comes to something, don't forget to network, because there's going to be a lot of positivity that comes from that. Now, the next one is, how is this going to affect people around you? Justice. This is Libra energy. This is about karma. So I do feel like you're creating good karma for yourself as long as you have pure intentions, and whatever it is you're doing is going to impact people positively. So as you raise your vibration, it generally and collectively affects those around you, and it helps everyone in the long run. So good stuff there as well. Now, in your hopes and fears, you have the Hanged Man. I wasn't sure exactly what Spirit wanted me to say on this, so I pulled a clarifier card, and your clarifier card was the Five of Pentacles. So the Hanged Man symbolizes a chapter in our lives where we start to see things a little differently. We see, this person hangs himself to see a different perspective, and they have this little orb of illumination around their head, which is enlightenment, essentially, so they can see things differently than they did before, even though it was maybe right under their nose the whole time. So this one is about you're seeing things differently from a different angle, but your fear is like, well, is this going to leave me out on the cold, all alone, all by myself? Do people even understand what I'm saying or thinking or feeling? Like, is there going to be any comprehension, or am I just going to be left out all alone? And you're going to attract, Aries, people who can match your freak. I don't know how to say that in a more professional way, but it's like, that song, like, is somebody going to match my freak? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody to match your freak. And sometimes that means being alone. Sometimes that means, networking or trying to sign up for more hobbies with like-minded individuals or whatever. But I do feel like that's where this Three of Pentacles comes into play here. So you might be left out in the cold for a little bit, but it is temporary, because we are always surrounded by energies, whether we can see them with our eyes or not. If you're familiar with science, then you know that the human eyes are only capable of seeing 5% of baryonic matter. So there's a whole spectrum out there of 95% of the things in this world that we can't even see with our human eyes. And I could talk about science all day. So anyways, the next card I have for you is the outcome when it comes to the situation. This is just your general, like, where are you headed at this time? And the Wheel of Fortune is a great card about moving forward. It's also a card that symbolizes good luck and good fortune. It's a card that says, like, you are divinely guided. Things are right in alignment. You're right where you're supposed to be, Aries. So don't try to worry so much or live in this regret and fear mode, because things are happening for your benefit, and it's healing to you, because I pulled a clarifier for this and the Star card came out. This is a great Aquarian energy. So if you've been waiting on closure or something, perhaps that might be coming in January. And the Star card is also another wish fulfillment card. So the Nine of Cups and the Star card being in this reading are very much so symbolic of your manifestations coming to life, your wishes coming true, your prayers being answered, however you want to think about that. But there's a lot of positive stuff in your future here, and your present, really. So just overall great energy for you. Now, if some of you have been concerned about money, I do feel like there is going to be relief when it comes to that. The King of Pentacles was here in your subconscious. So if you're worried about finances, and that could also be this like Five of Pentacles, if you're worried about being poor because you're pursuing your dreams and your passions, it's not forever. It's, there's a lot of limitations when it comes to pursuing creative ventures in a world that's based on factory mindsets. So you might be experiencing some bumps in the road, but that's part of the process. And most success stories, especially if you read about certain celebrities, you'll find most of them were living in their car before their big break, or they were surviving on rice and beans before they had their big moment. So there might be a lot of struggles that you're facing that you may not understand at this time, but it's sort of a rite of passage when it comes to your how can I phrase this? When testing your will power to commit to yourself. That's kind of what it is, which is kind of not a great feeling at times, especially if you're low and you're not understanding what's happening or why it's happening to you instead of for you. So just don't harp too much on this like left out in the cold feeling, because it'll get you stuck in this rut. And I just noticed you have 2 5s here. So you have 5-5, which is significant and symbolic of change. It also symbolizes conflict, which is kind of goes hand in hand with change. So you might be experiencing a little bit of mental conflict or anguish because of all of the shifts that are happening. But overall great reading, great tarot reading for you, Aries. Hopefully that helped. I'm going to go ahead and dive into the oracle cards, which will probably just bring more cohesive messages for you. If you liked this reading, again, please smash that like button. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in a one-on-one coaching session with me, please feel free to reach out or DM me, or I can also do a tarot reading for you that's personalized to your own energy. Now, this deck is, it's the Archetypes deck. So the first card I have for you is the Storm. You might be a storm bringer, Aries. Sometimes people who are going through shifts and going through change, when they have different perceptions and different perspectives, and they try to present those to their community, to people that they've been around with for a very long time, when they shift their mindsets, sometimes that brings conflict and chaos. Like I was just talking about, it can bring trials. So you might be experiencing some kickback from people because they're not used to you having a different mindset. But, we should all be generally open to another's perspective. But the media has a great way of slinging trash and pitting people against each other. So make sure you remain open-minded as well as open-hearted, because not everyone is able to do that, and that's a really rare skill and a positive personality feature, in my opinion. So the next card I have for you is the Universe card. It says always be in harmony with the universe. Some of you might be tapping into your higher self. You might be doing a lot of meditation at this time. Maybe you're really trying to hone your spiritual gifts or abilities. I do feel like with that Empress energy, tapping into your feminine is going to give you a bit more access than most people. Now, this card is a great synchronicity. It says, I release all negative thoughts of the past and all worries of the future. So when we're not in the here and the now, we get into this Five of Cups mode. This is regret and remorse. That's fear of the past. Now, when we're thinking of the future and we're unsure what's going to happen, where are we going, and we feel like we're in the storm, that's anxiety. We're dreading the future. We're afraid of what's going to happen. We're afraid people aren't going to see our perspective. They're not going to understand us, that we're going to be left abandoned. And those are wounds that are being triggered for you. And when you feel uncomfortable and when you feel that, you have to really dive in deep, Aries, and try to understand, like, what is it I'm feeling? Go to like the most basic level. What is it I'm feeling and why? And try to be consciously aware and maybe even write it down so you can kind of get it out there. Now, the next card I have is from my Third Eye Intuition deck. This one says act. This is just a way to hone your intuitive skills. Intuition isn't just for a special moment or momentous moment. Tap into your intuition every day. Lead yourself forward with every moment and pay mind to what you see and what you hear. A lot of the times, if you've studied psychology, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And even if you haven't, you'll know what I'm talking about at the end of this. But a lot of the times people have tells, they have tics, they have little things that they do when they're lying. They have little things they do when they're being honest. And those might be something that you want to look into or look up, because especially if you've been around someone, you just have this sensation sometimes, like, is this person being true? Is this person like real right now? I can't tell. But most of the time, our subconscious is battling our conscious, and we're trying to protect ourselves for our safety. And discerning is a skill. So make sure not only you're practicing your intuition, but you're also able to discern what it is people are doing versus what it is that they're saying, and seeing if that aligns for you and for them. Now, the next card I have is from my Moon Wisdom Oracle. It says, hold your vision, fixed moon. So if you have some goals and dreams and trajectories, which I feel like you do because you've manifested something that's coming to life here, Spirit really wants you to make sure you're being consistent and you're putting in that elbow grease and doing the work. And that's going to require sometimes a big lifestyle shift and change that takes a while to build. So habits are built over the course of 90 days minimum, basically. So if you've been trying to do something, give yourself at least 90 days of consistent behavior. And then eventually at some point, it's almost going to become like this muscle memory for you. The next card I have is from my Power of Love deck. It says compassion. You demonstrate the language of the heart by actively sharing and living in love. This also means having compassion for yourself. I think a lot of the times, if you're empathic, we forget to take care of ourselves. And I do feel like you're trying to shift that, especially with that Empress energy. You might have to be mothering yourself, especially if you didn't have a great mother, or if you had a toxic mother. You've probably learned how to be your own mother or your own father. The next card I have is from my I Ching deck. This isn't how you typically pull I Ching, and I know that, so don't come at me in the comments, but I kind of just like to pull and see what comes out for you in the general energy. So if you have been battling a workforce, I do feel like you're being asked at this time to stand up for your beliefs and for your values. And that could also be tied to this Hanged Man energy. So maybe you've been working for a company that lacks a moral compass, and you're afraid if you say something, it might leave you left out in the cold. Okay, so what? Maybe you would be. What's the worst that happens? People don't talk to you anymore? Okay, then what? I'm trying not to make super light of it, but who cares? Like, those probably aren't people you should be friends with if they don't respect your opinion. Because if they can't respect your opinion or your values or your morals or your ethics, then that's not a friendship. That's not anything that's going to last the longevity of time. It's not a solid foundation. That's a foundation built of sand and lies and illusion. So make sure you're being true and authentic to yourself. Again, that's the highest vibration. That's the highest resonating frequency. It's been scientifically proven. So be you, Aries, no matter the cost. Be yourself. This card says corruption, something dark under the surface of life, manifesting as patterns of negative experience. This comes from our past, our parents, and our culture. It's time to examine those patterns and to understand where they come from. And before you can tend to the growing seed of change in your life, what's behind the trouble and what is the hidden cause? If you look at most religions, they're all usually based on implementing fear factors. And that's why I don't get along with a lot of modern perspectives of religion, because they're all typically based on fearing people into compliance and into obedience. And that's just a low vibe. It's a low frequency. It's not true and it's not authentic. And then behind closed doors, I find personally in my own life experience, having been raised very religiously for many, 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 many years, I find most religious people to be the worst hypocrites of all. Because as soon as the doors are closed, they, again, from my own experience, they are like the least kind, the least authentic, the least transparent, the least true. And that might be what you're experiencing at this time as well, Aries, because you're the storm. You're the storm bringer because you're being true to yourself. You're being authentic. You're saying your piece, and you're just kind of letting the cards fall where they may. And that sometimes can bring waves of revelation to people who might not be ready for that. So just keep that in mind as you're on your journey. Like, do what you have to do for you. You don't have to justify your actions or explain yourself to anyone. And if they don't want to understand, then they won't. And even if you try to explain yourself, they still may not understand because they may not be able to meet you at that same level, at that same frequency, Aries. So the next card I have for you is Never Ending Story. It's not the best card, I'm not going to lie. It's like one of my least favorite cards in the Wisdom Oracle deck. It's number 37, so that might be a significant number for some of you. Never Ending Story is like wallowing in self-pity, martyrdom. Nobody understands me. Why is this happening again? Oh, I can't wait for this to be over. Can we just move forward? That's kind of the energy, which is also pretty cohesive with this like Five of Cups regret card of like, oh, here we go. So if you're feeling that, I do feel like it's a wave for you. It's cyclical. Emotions are like roller coasters or waves, literally, if you want to think about it that way. It'll go in and out with the tides, and that's just part of the shifting and the lifestyle and the changing, especially when you're going through major chapters in your life, which you're definitely doing at this time for sure. Now, the last card I have for you, Aries, is from my chakra deck. If you're not sure what a chakra is, gosh. Oh, gosh. Okay, you have the wildest cards right now. If you're not sure what a chakra is, make sure you check out my chakra videos. I tried to break them down into like layman's terms so you can kind of get a base idea of what it is. There's a lot of scientific research out there about chakras, so this isn't some like hippie woo-woo stuff. It's like scientific fact based on electromagnetic fields and energy, which is what we're made of. So yeah, anyways, your solar plexus is wild right now. I don't think I've pulled these for myself once before, but I've never pulled these for a tarot reading. And I've done a lot of tarot readings or oracle readings, whatever you want to call it. This is a gift. It might feel like a curse, but you are going through an enlightenment experience, which is also relevant or synchronistic of the Hangman card as well. It's like you're being enlightened. Things are dawning on you that were always there. You're just kind of like having these epiphanous thoughts and these feelings. Maybe your third eye chakra is opening. Maybe your heart chakra burst open. You might be experiencing that too. If you have, again, make sure you check out my chakra videos because I kind of go over like what it is that happens. Because there's just not a lot of content out there with all that stuff. So that might be significant for a lot of you. But you have enlightenment and miracle. The miracle that happens for those of us who go on this enlightenment journey, it's divinely guided. It takes access to your heart chakra. It takes access to your third eye chakra. It takes bravery. It takes courage. It takes love. You have to have this perfect medley of all of these things in order to reach an enlightenment state. And it's not like, okay, you reach it and you're done. It's like a never-ending journey that can be very, very challenging at times, and sometimes it doesn't feel like a miracle at all, but that is what's happening for you at this time, Aries, or at least for a majority of you. And I don't pray often, but I will pray for you because it's a storm, and at the end of this storm there will be a rainbow. It's just gonna take a lot of strength to get through. But, you know, that's why I'm here, and that's why I do these videos. That's what Dark Night Coaching is all about. So Dark Night Coaching comes from the St. John of the Cross, Spanish fella who wrote about his dark night of the soul. And that's basically why I started this channel and why I started my business, is because I was going through a dark night of the soul, and I didn't find anything online that I was like, oh, this makes sense. This makes sense. I found a lot of the stuff and the knowledge that I was searching for in books and in, oddly enough, in movies that I was guided to watch. But nobody was explaining it in a way that I could really comprehend well enough to know like that I wasn't alone out there. So that's why I'm here. That's why I do this channel, hopefully to help you and guide you on your journey, and let you know you're not alone and you're not crazy, that everything's happening for a purpose, for reason, and you're aligning with your soul's path and your soul's mission, which is to help the collective. It's to raise awareness, to raise the consciousness, to raise the vibration and the frequency. And it's basically a rapture of sorts. So again, I don't, there's a lot about theology I could talk about. I'm not going to dive into it because this video is already long enough. But anyways, that's what I have for you, Aries. Hopefully this video helped. If it did, please smash that like button. Helps my channel grow. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. And I will see you next time.